Hello, welcome to TeaQuilts Live. We have about a minute before we start today, and I'm just waiting on some viewers to get into the room. I am actually working on my apple core blocks. I'm still piecing these together. I have the last quarter of my quilt top. So I am just going to do a little sewing here until we get some people in the room. Hi, Kaylin. See, we have about 10 viewers now. Hi, Ruth. Glad you can make it. So I'll wait until we get at least 15 viewers and then I'll start. We're at 11 right now. Just want to make sure that I don't start the topic until people come into the room. Okay. So today, this was a requested topic by one of the viewers, and it was how to choose quilt paddings, and had a lot of questions about cotton versus polyester and what to use in baby quilts. And the whole thing with padding is very complicated and very controversial depending on who the quilters are. What area of the country you live in may play a part as well. Hi, HC. I think we're going to answer your question today. If I'm not mistaken, I think you are the one that asked about batting. So I'm glad you volunteered the topic, gave me something to talk about today. Hi, Bonita. Got Lauren King here. And hi, Debbie Huey. She's my quilting sister. How are you? Got Helen Thomas. And we're also going to talk about the benefits of being in a quilt guild. That was the question that I had, but I do understand that some people may not have the best experience with quilting guilds. So if you have some things that concern you about quilting guilds, then we're here to share that as well. And then on this site, your opinion is your opinion. No one is to bounce on somebody for their opinion. So it's all free here. You can say what you want. So one of the things in batting is when you're choosing it, it's helpful to learn some of the terminology with batting because that's your first step with it. And then that way you can understand what it is when you ask someone else for a referral because really your friends and the people in your quilting area may be your best resources for batting choices. So we're just going to start at the top. Main thing about batting is you need to have it the appropriate size because there's nothing like starting a quilt and then finding out you don't have enough batting to complete it in your home, or you have to connect two pieces of batting. And I do connect a lot of my batting when I'm working on smaller wall hangings. Say if it's less than, say, 36 inches square and I have batting left over from quilting a large quilt, I will piece my battings together. But when you're starting out with batting, you want to make sure that you have at least 3 to 4 inches all the way around your quilt. So that's 6 to 8 inches larger than your quilt top. And that's going to depend on how much quilting you're doing, as well as the type of batting that you're using. So I still got people coming in. Got Diana from Alabama. We got Rhonda and Mila. She's from Tennessee. So welcome. We just got started. We were talking about just making sure you have enough batting, the correct size, the correct amount of batting. And then you have your contents of batting, which is where controversy starts to come in. A lot of quilters have their own personal preference and they'll quilt 100% of their quilts with the same batting. So you have 100% cotton, of course, and I Mostly we use warm and natural 100% cotton. There is some new batting that Joanne brought out called Toasty Cotton. When it first came out, they had it on sale for a very reasonable rate for 20-yard both of it. And I bought it and I do like it. It's just a little bit softer hand than warm and natural, but it works just fine as far as washing and clothing. And then you also have your percent of that, be it cotton, polyester, cotton silk. So you can have Hobbs, which is 80/20, 80% cotton, 20% polyester, and it works out very well. And I do have a few pieces of some samples here. I didn't have samples of everything because I may not have used it and or I have already donated it to somebody else. But just the warm and natural is this hat here. It has hardly any loft. I'll say like an eighth of an inch loft. And then I also have it in the white. I also like warm and white. This is what I use, I'd say about 95% of the time in my quilts. And then I was talking about the 80/20. This is just a hot 80/20 in the black instead of the natural color, just because I didn't have any natural scraps available. And then this is the new bag that I was talking about at Joann's. It's the toasty cotton. And it is a little bit more loftier when you look at it. It looks like it might be some polyester in it. They say it's 100% cotton. And then it's a little softer, looser, a looser weaving of it compared to warm and natural. So both of those are great, and I've used those in customer quilts. I showed you the Hobbs, and then you have 100% polyester. And that's where it gets a little tricky because if you're not paying attention to the bulk or packaging when you're buying polyester bats, you can get home and not have the bat that you want. This is the type of polyester bat that I would like to use if I'm going to use it in a quilt. It's only 4 ounces, and I like that because it's not real bushy, bumpy, or bushy, not really bushy, but the kind that is very rounded when you're quilting, and then when you're trying to quilt, say, on this home sewing machine, it's a lot to try to get under the arm if you're using something that is a 6.6 ounce. This right here is what came with my long arm. They actually gave me 2 rolls of this for free, and I've been putting these more into charity quilts and some baby quilts. So we'll come back to that in a little bit. And then you have other battings. A lot of people like Quilter's Dream request batting, and you can see the request part is down here. And these are pretty reasonably priced. You can get these at like Hancock's for $20 or in that range, $20 to $25 at Hancock's or Paducah. Let me say that because they are 2 different entities. Hancock's is no longer in business, and Hancock's or Paducah is in Paducah, Kentucky. So that's that one. Another one I have back here is fusible battings. And I brought 2 because there is a difference in the thickness of the fusible bat. And the fusible bat, I mostly will use in table toppers or wall hangings that I know I'm not gonna wash if any time at all, not a whole lot. This one is a little bit more denser than this one here, but they're both dipel on, and I'm hoping you can see this when I'm giving you side views. But they're both dipel on, so even when you're buying fusible bats, you need to pay attention to the weights that are on the bats. Some bats that I don't have is the Quilter's Dream Green bat, which is recycled, and it even has plastic bottles in it. So a lot of people are using that currently. You have even 70/30 bat, where 70% is cotton, 30% polyester, 60/40 wool bats. You have 100% wool, and then you may even run into some bamboo battings. So the next thing you want to determine when you're trying to figure out what to do in your quilt is that loft because the loft will determine how your end result will look. So if you have a high loft back, that's going to show off more of your piecing. If you have a low loft back, then it's going to show off more of your quilting. And then the density of your quilting will also play a part in that, as well as the type of thread that you're using, as far as the type of the color, if you're using metallic, or if you're using cotton or polyester that has a sheen. So that also plays a part. Some people are only use battings by particular brands. Some people may only use warm and natural bats, where someone else may decide they will only use Quilter's Dreams bats. So you have that as well. And again, I already talked about choosing the bat that's appropriate for the arm size. So if I'm quilting a bed size quilt on my domestic sewing machine, I probably would use an 80/20 bat or 100% cotton bat. And not use a 100% polyester because polyester is just so fluffy that as I'm rolling the quilt, it just won't stay compact. So some batting terms. Well, let me first say, for as quilting, you do certain bats require you to quilt to a certain level. So you can get like warm and natural batting. They say it will take up to 8 inches. Now I don't quilt and leave 8 inches of space. It does mean it just gives you a general idea of the type of quilting design that you can pick. If you want to just quilt in a ditch and be done, just know that will work when you wash it numerous times, even if it's quilted, up to that 8 inches apart. I don't really do that because I like my quilts to have a lot of quilting in them. Polyester bags can be kind of controversial. At one time, they said that polyester bags could be quilted further apart than said cotton battings. But now they're saying, well, cotton batting, I mean polyester bats 2 to 4 inches apart. And I'm thinking that's because as it's being washed, those fibers have a lot more chance of being pulled when they go through the ringing process of your washing machine. So in order to protect it so that it all stays where it's supposed to be, and they're recommending the 2 to 4 inches apart. Bamboo is another one that can be stitched up to 8 inches apart. And then wool is recommended for 2 to 3 inches. And that's because when you have wool batting, it is more prone to shrinking. And so you want to have less space for shrinking. Now I remember when I first started quilting, I used some of the 100% cotton batting that didn't have any stram. And stram is used in batting so that it can hold the fibers together because otherwise cotton will just fall apart. I used to love to use batting that didn't have stram, but when you use that type of batting, then you have to go up to a quarter inch apart. So you're quilting very dense, and that is what is quilted in this here. And I do like it because when you wash those particular quilts, you can just run your hand across the top and really feel the texture that's going on with those quilts. So a lot of times you can't tell how a batting is going to react in a quilt until after it's quilted. So if you haven't been washing your quilts before you gift them to others, go ahead and wash some of them with different battings just so you can see for yourself the different textures that you'll get. And then some of the other terms is bearding, and that's why I brought in the black batting. A lot of times I'll get customer quilts and they want to use their own batting. They have a black quilt top, or the main focus of the quilt top is black, and then they'll bring me a solid black backing. And the whole time that I'm quilting this quilt with the white batting that they provided, you can see it coming through as I'm doing the rows. You can see it looks like it could be shed hairs, or shed pet hairs. It is actually the fibers of the batting that's going through the fabric. And so I prefer using a black batting when I am working with darker quilts. I used to only buy Cobb's 80/20 book in black by the packages. But lately, I've been doing a lot of quilting where I have been using this a lot, and I prefer now to buy it on the roll. And that's the other thing. A lot of us, if you don't have a long arm, we tend to buy padding by the packages. And in all honesty, I was buying rolls of that even when I didn't have a long arm because it's way cheaper if you buy the whole roll. Trying to see if I got any other things. I tried to write some questions down to, or write some things down so I wouldn't forget to mention them. So then we come to some of the questions. The questions were, is polyester batting okay to use? Yes, polyester batting is okay to use. It's been around for a long time. It's going to continue to be around for a long time. And that question came up because polyester batting is way cheaper than cotton batting. Will it hold up as well as cotton? Now, I don't have any quilting myself that have polyester batting in them, but I have gifted over 100 quilts to various family members. And as long as they didn't let the dog play with our quilts, then their quilts are still being used. And I probably made most of those quilts back in the early 2000s. The question is it harder to quilt? Actually, polyester batting is easier to quilt as far as needle penetrating because it glides through it a lot easier than it would on a cotton, especially if you're hand quilting. If you're hand quilting with batting, that's another reason when the quilters dreams batting come in because they say they quilt like butter. So if you're hand quilting something, you may want to try that particular brand. And then the most controversial question of all is it okay to use polyester batting in infant quilts? And I'm going to be going to the message area in a minute. Uh-oh. They're saying they can't hear me, but I got everything working. I'm trying to move my speaker at more of an angle to the camera. Say sound is breaking up. Is it working now? Okay. Can you all hear me? I'm just going to wait for them to respond. Okay. So I don't know exactly where I left off. Can someone tell me where I should start back up? This is only my second time using the head mic, so it seems like we're having a little difficulty here. But it's working now. If you have any questions or if I missed something, just put it into the comment box and I'll try to go back and answer those questions. So what I'll do though, just for this viewing, is I'll go ahead and talk about. Okay, so they were saying that when I left off, it was talking about the highly controversial, and that's when you're talking about what to put inside of a baby's quilt. Okay, so, and that was coming from the infant. And I have different sides of both views. Some people will only use 100% polyester, and then some people will only use 100% cotton. And then you got the people in the middle that will go ahead and use a percent of cotton and polyester. And it's weird because when you're, it's weird because I think I'm going out again. Am I okay? I have to think. It's weird because when you buy some cotton fabric for quilt making, it'll say, it's clear to say, not for infant sleepwear. And especially when you buy your novelty prints. So it's controversial all over. So either one of these settings, to me, would be bad if it's fire and your baby is in the fiber. If it's a fire and your baby is in the fiber, my mic is going in and out. I'm sorry. So what I tend to do is that I use polyester bats when I did infant quilt. And that's because the polyester would actually melt. And I know that when it melts, then that means that it will burn the skin. But at least the baby wouldn't go up in total flames, though, which is what will happen, in my opinion, if you're using 100% cotton batting. And if you do a test when you don't know whether or not a fabric has any polyester in it, all you have to do is take a match and burn, say, like an inch of it. When you have polyester, it will burn and disappear. And then when you have cotton, it will burn to disappear. And then the cotton polyester batting, it does melt. So it will melt onto the skin if you're actually in a fire, if you're concerned for that purpose. But to me, the cotton batting will then also go up in flames because it's going to burn all of the 100% of cotton. So that's why some people have started using the 80/20. Now, one thing that people I've noticed a lot online in some of my groups is a lot of people are now going to the Quilter's Dream greenback for infant quilts. And I just haven't tried that yet for an infant quilt, and I haven't done any tests with that particular batting. So next time I go to Paducah, I'm going to stop by and see if I can find any of those samples or if they got anything where I can just buy, say, a 12 to 15-inch square of it just to test it out and see. But I haven't used it, so that is an idea. But another reason I do like using polyester batting for kids quilts is because they're not as heavy. A cotton quilt can be heavy on a newborn baby if they're putting it on top of this baby. And it's also a lot warmer, and children, especially babies, are not as cold as adults are. So I'm going to go back through some of the comments. I think I've answered all of the questions on the back. If I missed anything, please pop it into the comment section. I'm going to go through it. And then also, if you are in a quote deal, go ahead and start posting your pros. And if you have any cons, go ahead and post those as well. We're going to share it all. And I'm trying to fit both of these topics into the hour. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, then I see one question from Bonita. She says, do you need to let it breathe? If you're buying batting in a package, they recommend that you put it into your dryer on the air cycle with perhaps some tennis balls or even a wet towel so that you can get the folds that are in that bat from being in the bag. I don't have that problem since I'd say 95% of my bats are purchased by the boat. It's very seldom that I personally use batting from a package. And someone was having difficulty getting the video. I hope you got it back because it looks like everything is working from my end. And Debbie, who also does long run quilting for hire, she says she likes the 80/20 for most quilts. So that's what you kind of do is you get a recommendation. The long run quilters, they are actually stock what they like to use or what sells the most. So if you are using a long run quilter, then you can check them for particular types of bats and or tell them what your project is for, and then they can give you some recommendations. That's a great idea. Donetta says she enjoys me on YouTube. Thank you so much. And I'm still getting a lot of I think these were earlier where my mic was breaking up. Fran says, I'm breaking up. Okay, so I appreciate you all letting me know. That helps a lot. Hey, Peggy. Okay, the sound's better. I'm trying to see if I got any questions I got to go through when I was having difficulty with the mic, so bear with me. I'm hoping, HC, that I answered all of your questions about the baby quilt. If not, go ahead and pop those in. I see that you asked about the baby quilt, but I talked about it as well. Just want to make sure. Jennifer Fosh, I don't know who QM is. Okay, polyester bat. Oh, she was asking if the quilting marine was here. Okay. And then Fran says she likes, I guess she likes string batting. Hi, Sheila. Jennifer is saying this is a fantastic topic, that I'm very knowledgeable on bats. Just telling you what I know. There is so much out there on batting, and I'm sure I didn't even cover it all. Just trying to do something quick. And Diana Carver says, can you go back over what you use for machine quilting? For for machine quilting, when I'm on my domestic sewing machine, I'm assuming that's her question. I would use 100% cotton or 80/20 because the 80/20 wouldn't fluff as much. I definitely would not be using this 6.6 ounce 100% polyester bat. That is just way too fat. Even though it quilts down to be pretty flat, it doesn't stay like that. So it would only be poofy where it had open quilting space. And I guess that's another reason you would use polyester bat, is when you want something to puff like in Trapanto, but you don't want to do the full Trapanto effect. If you quilt, say, the outline of, say, a dress, then the dress will stick up. And then if you heavily quilt the background around it, then that dress will really be puffy. You can kind of do like a mock Trapanto with polyester bat. But I mostly will use Hobbs 80/20 or warm and natural 100% cotton. For the quilting marines here now. Okay, and so Debbie's going into Gill, so I'm going to wait for hers for a minute just to see if we got any more. Okay, so it looks like we're, Peggy is saying that she didn't catch what batting beards. Batting beards, but if you may not see it when you quote, when the batting is similar in color to the quilt. So for some degree, the batting is going to bear it and you will see it. But if you have a black quilt or a quilt that's predominantly made with dark colors like navy blue, black, hunter green, when you start to quilt that and you use a white batting, that white batting or natural batting is going to show as the needle is punching to quilt it, it's punching that batting through. And so the batting wants to come out through the back. Now it's not as noticeable when your batting is, or your quilt tops are very similar to this color. I mean, you can't see it. But if you put that same white into a black quilt, you're going to see it every time you roll. It kind of looks like it could be sheds of pet hair or human hair, like it's just hair on your quilt. But in all essence, it's actually the batting. And what I recommend for darker quilts is to use a black batting, not a white. And a lot of people are saying yes to the Quilter's Dream Green. I just haven't used it, so it's good to get verification in here. So I have a lot of And a lot of comments here, but I do see right at the bottom that I've got Eric Oda. Welcome. He wants to know if anyone has tried the bamboo batting. Dewana wants to know if the cotton batting fluff after you wash it. Yes, it does. It actually fluffs and it kind of draws up just a tad, but it's not enough to pull your quilt out of whack. It's enough that it will give your quilt a texture depending on how densely you quilted it. The more densely you quilt it, when you run your hand across it, it will have that old-fashioned feel of a quilt. If it's quilted, say, within an inch apart. If it's quilted where it's up to 8 inches apart, you won't have that effect. You'll have just a very little puff, but not a lot. Stormy Long says, Miss T, thank you so much for the notions video. Very helpful. You're welcome. I'm glad you watched it. And a lot of people are saying that they like Quilter's Dream. And the Quilter Marine, he just come in. He said, do you have a preference on the brand of batting? I actually prefer warm and natural. That's just because I'm the 100% cotton girl. And I love the weight. I like in your old fashioned quilts, when they use the 100% cotton, they were just nice and heavy. And I kind of like that. Although warm and natural batting has been changing over the years from when I first started using it, it was a lot heavier than it is now, but I still prefer it. And every once in a while, I will use a double bat where I would put a 100% cotton underneath and like a 4-ounce polyester on top if I want something to poof, especially when I have appliques on quilts. So I may put something this small on the top so that it can make something raise up. Hi, Stormy. And then Debbie Hewitt is saying polyester batting when quilting looks more like a comforter. And I think that's one of the reasons why I don't like to use polyester as much, because I don't want to have my quilts be called a comforter. There are a lot of non-quilting folks in our families that will call our quilts comforter, and it's like, okay, you don't get a quilt. No quilt for you. But we have to educate people because they have no idea that it's an insult to call our quilt a comforter. That's two different things. Okay, so we're not going to go just quickly, and I'll come back to some of these comments, and hopefully we can cover them all. It's like a half hour in, and I do want to talk a little bit about quilting gills. I do see some comments about those, and again, I just wrote down some quick notes just so I don't forget to tell you anything. But the question came to me, and I've been getting this a lot, is what is the benefit of joining a quilting guild? And there really are a lot of great benefits for joining a quilt guild. But like any great thing, you also have some negativity that's around that. Whenever we walk out of our house, we can't control our environments anymore. So some of the very positive things for me is that you're around like-minded people. Most of the people in our family or our close friends, if they're not into any form of crafting, they think that we have completely lost our minds. We go out and buy perfectly good fabric, we cut it up into little bitty pieces, and then we sew that same fabric right back together. And they have no understanding or clue as to why or how we're doing that, even why we're doing that. So that's one of the main things, is that you realize that you're not in this alone. And I have people, I've gone around to various guilds. I've gone to the Chicago area. In that area, they have their state quilt guild, and they meet monthly. And people from all over the state of Illinois will come into that guild. I had at least 500 people. It was like an auditorium full of people. We actually used the pulpit. I was in the pulpit, and they were out in the church area while I presented. But that many people show up for their guild. If you have a large guild, you do a lot of programming and things to keep people interested, it's a very good thing. So you get to meet a lot of like-minded people. You get to share your work as well as you get to see the work of others. I mean, when we show our stuff to our family, they just go, "Oh, that's cute," or they'll say they like the colors or what they don't like about it, but they really have no full understanding of you just told this what I'm working on now, apple core quilt, and how difficult it really was, or that your color combination really is fantastic because they're just going by what they know. So you kind of get confirmation, and then you also can get additional advice. And that's how I actually started my YouTube channel, was because as I was doing lectures, I had people constantly asking me the same questions over and over. And my first video was the second wax series. It was just what type of fabric should I use? I was actually teaching that class, and people would come to class and not have the appropriate fabric. And then I felt bad for them because they couldn't do anything because the fabric wasn't going to work. So that was my first video on quilting, was how to choose your fabrics for second wax. So you're actually sharing. The next thing is the Guild offer classes, and most of those classes would be cheaper than if you were taking it at a local sewing center, as well as if anybody else that's not a member should come to that class, it would be cheaper for you being a member. Most guilds have a book library. So if you don't want to invest in a book that you only are going to make one quilt from, it's a great way to rent a book out for a month, or they loan a book out for a month. Our guild does have, if you're late with the book back, they charge you $1 each additional month. That's cheaper than the public library system at this point. And nobody even cares about the dollar being over at that point. But that's a good resource for you, and you don't have to buy every book. So when you start looking at your guild fee, you're starting to get it back in the services that the guild offers. The next one is most guilds will have quilt show. And I would recommend, if you're searching for a guild, that you visit with some guilds and you talk with some of the members to see if they do have a quilt show. Because this is our art form, and we're not taken serious by the people that don't think, they think quilting is still all the little old ladies sitting around a quilt frame quilting and just yakking. They don't know that this quilting thing is as big as it is. And so when we have a quilt show, it's a way that our art is hung in a very professional manner. And it's not just on your wall at home, but I'm not saying that's not professional, but I'm saying it's totally different when you go to the art museum and you see these works of art hanging up and they got the perfect light. They got them, they will put our quilts on the actual frames and stands that we can't put in our house. It makes a big difference when you go into that quilt show. I'm telling you, the difference between show and tell at our monthly meetings and our quilt show, it's like 200%. It's just weird to see all of this beautiful work of art that's displayed. And if you are a member, then that means that your quilt can be included in the quilt show. Most guilds will not allow someone to put a quilt into the show. They're not a member unless they have a shortage of quilts. Then they may make an exception. I like my guild because we also have challenges. And it's not required that you participate in those challenges. But what the challenge does is it gives you an opportunity to grow. Say you don't like working with paper piecing, and the challenge might be make a paper piece quilt no larger than 36 inches square. Well, first of all, you got to learn how to work in the confinement of size, and then as well as a technique. It could be a color, it could be whatever. So it makes you grow outside of your norm of what you would do at home on your own. And the last one for me, and I'm purposely leaving some of these out so I can get some suggestions from the chat box, is the retreats. As you all know, I record every retreat that I go on. I give you a little snippet of it. But when I'm home sewing, since it's just me and my husband, it's really no big deal for me to be able to get my sewing time in. But for those that have families or you're heavily involved in the life of your grandchildren, coordinating things, picking people up. A retreat is a great way to say, I'm not available during this time. And then you can sew at that retreat the entire time if you so desire. The last one out always locks up. So there's nobody to say you can only sew from this time to that time. But it's just dedicated time to do whatever it is that you want to do. If you want to go to retreat and be a social bug, you can go and just talk and have fun with everyone. You don't have to sew a thing. But if you're one of those people that you've got some things you want to get done, a retreat is a great way to do that without having the outside forces interfering with your progress. So now I talked about a lot of the pros. I'm just going to do one con. And anytime that you're out in public and you're dealing with other people, you kind of get other people can give you feels for how something is going to go. I know we've had members that come into our guild and felt like they weren't welcome. And it's not that they weren't welcome. It's just that when you go to a guild meeting, you have to put yourself out there and start talking to people and saying hello to people. Most guilds have breakout groups where people can then get together and really learn about each other a little more, like in the classes per se. But when you first go to a meeting, and especially if it's your first time, you're going to feel lost. You're going to feel like nobody really cares that you're there. Trust me, they really do care. It's just that a guild meeting, they're handling so many business items at that time that they really can't like put that effort into showing one new person the whole chain when it comes in. Now, this has been a problem for our guild, and we have recently reinstated that anytime we have a new member, we're going to pull a seasoned member to walk this person around the room and explain to them exactly what goes on in this meeting. So, I mean, and then we do have the issues of some people not wanting to, we can't get volunteers to do this or volunteers to do that. And we have to keep asking over and over so that the same 10 to 20 people aren't running the guild. But basically, that's small stuff to me because if it's something that I want to do, I'm going to figure out how can I fit into this place. And so those are some of my suggestions for a quilting guild. And I'm going to go through some of the comments in the chat. I think Debbie had one back up. I'm going to see if I can find it. She said guilds are great for ideas and support. Guilds are not so great when looking for new leaders. And she's correct because we're having a little difficulty. I don't know if it's still going on now, but we were having difficulty trying to get someone to take over presidency. And I have done that already, and I think it's time for someone else to do that who hasn't done it and has been in the guild. And that's the hard part that I was talking about. Even I didn't know what she had written, but just getting people to volunteer. And that's why new people were always nice. Now, a new person can't come in and volunteer to be president because you don't know what's going on. But there's so many other different committees that you start as a co-chair and you learn the ropes. And it's a great way of knowing people because if you've got to talk to people every meeting and you get to know them a little better. So that's a good one, Debbie. She gave a pro and a con. I love that. Danette says, love our quilt guild, have met so many like-minded people. We learn from each other and have more long armors at my disposal. So that's another thing. You go in there and you probably got 10, 20 in every guild that has a long arm at this point. Okay, I'm still going through. And Dewana, unfortunately, no guilds are in her city. But like I said, depending on when your state, try to see if you have a state quilt guild, see when they meet and see if that's something that you can do. I'm also a member of my state quilting guild. I don't go to any of the quarterly meetings, but I will go to retreat. I will participate in the Facebook group. But I can do what I can, but I can't do every meeting. Thank you, Anitra. She says she loves my channel. And Angela Wittenberg is not in a guild either. Fran says quilting guilds are very different. Foxville 10 have the Posse quilt gill, and they were outstanding. And it just takes a little work to find one that you fit with. And like I say, you figure out where the quilt gills are in your area, and it's okay to go visit them as a visitor. You don't have to sign up the first day you go. Just go and see what it's about and see which one you fit in. I actually just, there's so many gills in our area that I just chose the one that was closest to my home. I'm still getting, I'm thinking these questions about the batting. I think I've already answered those. So I'm just going through those. HC says, do you need to use a specific needle for different batting? I haven't really been paying attention to the needles I use. And no, I just use more of a quilting needle if you're on your home machine. They have needles that are for machine quilting. In all honesty, I've quilted with the exact same needle that I pieced with. I've used when I was using my Singer as my quilting machine. I used the size 14 quilting needle. I would piece with it as well. And Fran say for warm, she likes to use warm and natural batting. So wonderful and easy to machine or long arm quilt. And Catherine says she has used bamboo batting quite a few times and she likes it. In your in your butt is somebody that's just in here playing, I guess, because I that's a weird screen name. Lauren King says she loves warm and natural. Fran says, does the bamboo batting have an odor? I don't know because I haven't used bamboo batting. So if someone knows the answer to that, and maybe you've already answered for her, that's great. And Jennifer Farsh is asking which brand of this black batting. I talked about that too. That's Hobbs 8020. So I just picked one bat to buy by the yard in black. I mean, by the bolt. I buy this by the bolt. And so I just chose the Hobbs 8020 so that it would cover my cotton people as well as have some polyester in it. And I really don't have a whole lot of customers either. So I only have like 4 bats for them to choose from if I'm providing the bat. Most of them bring their own bat. So that's why I don't have a whole lot of different bats. You can probably have up to 17 different bats if you bought them all. Yeah, we got somebody on here that is spamming my channel or being outrageous. I'm not going to read these things that are coming up, but you have to have thick skin when you go on social media. Just let me say that. And Fran is asking, have I tried ordering through Nancy's Notions? I have not ordered any batting from Nancy's Notions, but from what I hear other people say, that's a good site. I hear people saying Hancock's of Paducah is a good site as well. I will sometimes purchase my bat when I go to the AQS show in Paducah because especially Hobbs, they're there and they have it at the most reasonable price you're going to pay at the show. So I tend to order what I need there. She says her husband calls her quilts blankies and she cringes. And I hear Missouri Star, that's an option for a bat as well. Okay, I'm still trying to get to more Gill stuff, but I got a lot of comments here, so I hit the down button and it took me all the way to the bottom, and that's not what I meant. I wanted it to scroll, but it wouldn't scroll. Somebody, I'm just picking one out the middle now. Someone's asking where can they donate batting scraps. I actually donate mine to a nursing home, and they do projects with the seniors. So I had a contact in my quilt guild, so I give it to her and she forwards it on. So you'll have to investigate the areas that can use that kind of stuff. I mean, the organizations in your area that can use that. Eric said he's shopping on Amazon. I was on there earlier today. And Cindy says she just joined a guild this year. I enjoy being with other quilters. We do many charity projects and make giveaway items like dresses for Africa, etc. And that is also another thing. If you are a person that just love to give or you don't have anyone to actually make quilts for, our guild, we make quilts and we give to different organizations based on the need. We also do kennel quilts and we do stockings and socks for Christmas for people that need those. So we do a lot of charity work throughout the guilds. And then they say maybe art teachers might want scraps. And that's true. If you got any kind of crafting projects, a lot of your school districts, they don't have funding for those type of projects or products. And so that would be a great place to donate as well. Maybe somebody might be a quilter as well, and they can do quilting projects with those children if they have the product. So that's a good option as well. A local family lost their home to fire right before Christmas. My guild had enough quilts in stockpile to give each family member a quilt. And that's awesome. Okay. Rand saying February 2 through 4 is the annual sew weekend for Quilts of Valor. Get together with fellow veterans and make some for your area veterans. And we have different organizations in our area that does the veterans quilts as well. And if our guild will sometimes make a top or make a quilt for a veteran as well. It just depends on what's going on. But we do have groups that on Facebook that you can just send your blocks to as well. And I'm talking local. There is the regular veterans, the Quilts of Valor. But all of those local groups are from the main Quilts of Valor. And what's nice about the local group, if you're participating in it, then it goes to your local veterans. I think RS Island Craft, Robin, I think she's saying, I am a scrap hoarder. Organizing your scraps is helpful. I think she's asking for suggestions for a next topic or something on organizing scraps. And the Quilting Marine is asking, does anyone know of a good guild in Georgia? Do a search on that because I know that there is a quilt show that is ran by a few quilt guilds in that area, but I don't remember the name of it now. I found that in a Google. Peggy says, I agree, quilt guild shows are fantastic to show off your work. And Anitra can't find a guild close enough to her. I'm sorry that that is what your experience is, but that's just, it's just hard when you live in rural areas and you don't have enough people to actually have a quilting guild. Wanda Walden says, which batting would you say has the best drape? I see some quilts that look so soft and loose. Example, Miss Sarah's Stack and Whack quilt and the Snail Trail quilt on your retreat video look soft and loose. we probably in those quilts we all kind of used the same thing just about. It was either 100% warm and natural or it was 80/20 hops. Lauren asks, have you ever been to the Dallas Quilt Show? It's the Guild of Dallas. It's scheduled for 3 9 to 11 with 400 quilts and over 100 vendors. No, I haven't been to the Dallas Quilt Show. Didn't know anything about it. And or or as Islands Craft, she's telling Wanda that the drape is probably because of the amount of quilting, and that's true. The drape, if you heavily quilt a quilt, is going to be very dense, but it will soften up when it's washed and have that raised texture that I was talking about. But it is a much heavier quilt when it's densely quilted like that. And then if you're also using a fleece or anything that you're adhering with heat, you're also going to have a stiffer quilt. HC is asking anyone in Mississippi and need a quilting buddy. And that's another thing. Even though I'm in the big deal, I can't join every quilting guild in my area because I am a lecturer and an instructor, and there is a different rate. Some of the guilds will pay you a lower rate than what you should be paid for your lectures and classes. And then other guilds may not pay you at all for those classes. So me as someone that's going around, I can't join every guild. And another reason I can't join every guild is because if I did join those guilds, they're going to want all of those services from me, and I would be spreading myself too thin to do all of that. So I just keep it to one local guild. Jennifer saying all of her favorite YouTubers are here. Fran is saying some of them have a show and tell each month when they meet. And I think I talked about the sharing of your work. And then she talked about lots of helpers in the guild. Shop around and find your chemistry, which is another thing that I recommended because maybe one particular group isn't for you, but another one may. Kathy says she's met some fantastic friends at Guild. And that's what we do. Robin is saying Guild buddies are wonderful, match a newbie with a seasoned member. And that's kind of what we do when we have someone come in that's a visitor. We escort them around the room just to, inform them of what's going on so they're not wondering what is going on and let them know all of the different committees that we have set up. Because it can be overwhelming if you just walk in and no one is talking to you at all. HC is going to tell her husband she needs a quilting battle buddy. And Eric says that he's part of a few guilds and each one is different. And that is so true. And Peggy O'Connor says you do have to put yourself out of your shell to make the most out of the group. Kelly says that she emailed the one closest to her to see if she could come in doing a speaker and no one got back to her. I am just going to show up next time. The thing with emailing people and using contact online, because when I was president of our quilting guild, there are still places online that list me as president, and I was a president maybe 5 presidents ago. So that information may not always be updated. So I try to find if I go to that list and I don't get a response, then I might try to search group on Facebook or something like that. But most of the times when a group have a speaker, other quilters from other areas are more than welcome to attend. On that particular night, they may charge a nominal fee for you to get in, $5 to $10, depending on how much they had to pay for that speaker. But you're more than welcome to attend any deal when they have like famous speakers coming in, like Ricky Timms or Alex Anderson, Bonnie Hunter, those people traveling. And when they come in, they're just going to charge you a fee for that if you're not a member. And they're laughing at Kelly being a guild crasher. No, you're more than welcome. It's just that it was probably information online that wasn't up to date anymore. And Debbie is also telling Kelly the same thing. I'm seeing it now. And got somebody at work saying they only caught part of the discussion, but would love to try wool batting sometimes. And that's another one of the battings that I haven't tried. I'm just a creature of habit and tend to use what I've been using if it's still working for me. And I think okay. And but I think I hear a lot of great positive things about wool batting, and a lot of people that are actually putting their quilts into the big shows like the AQS shows. I hear that they are using wool batting. Claudette says she belongs to the African American Quilters of Los Angeles. We have a quilt show every other year. We have new members tea every spring, and that's really nice that you do something specifically for the new members. And I'm assuming that they do something so there's a way for you to communicate with them during that event. So that's pretty cool. We got Tanya. She says, I work with jeans a lot. What is the best batting to use? Love the quilting guild. Now, when I'm using jeans, sometimes I'll add batting if I want that quilt to be very heavy. You can use whatever batting you want. The heavier weight your batting is, the heavier weight is going to be with the denim as well. And we are at 8 o'clock, so I'm looking at the time, but I'm trying to go through the comment section. But some people will not use a batting at all. What they opt to do is use a flannel fabric on the back. So therefore, you're not adding too much additional weight, and then the flannel itself can also help for warmth. And also nowadays, you got all these different minky and cuddle fabrics. You could also use those, so you even got more choices now. June is saying she likes a woman natural 100% in size 14 needle. It works best on my mid-arm quilter. T, did you fill up your trip to Missouri Star Quilt Company? I just found your post about it, and I see the deadline is over. That's from Cindy. Cindy, we did not get enough people. I'm actually trying to see if I can move us to another place, and I haven't gotten confirmation on that yet. I'm hoping to have that hopefully by the end of the week. I think I have 7 or 8 people. I can't remember now what the number is, but I had more people. Some people had to cancel because they had some surgeries for doctors planned for them, or they couldn't get off work. So I don't have that filled, and that will not be happening as I originally planned. And I'm trying to look at plan 2 at this point, or plan B. So glad I caught you live. This is from Sandra. She said, my guild has a freebie table where we can bring snacks, I guess, where we can bring snacks. They have fabrics or supplies you no longer want. Love that. We do that as well. The hard part is that nobody, if it's not taken, we have a hard time getting people to pick the stuff back up. So then the president has to pick it up. But we have that as well. That's a great idea. We also have every August, we have a flea for all where the members can mark things for a price that they're interested in. And then we just bring it all in like the Quilters flea market. So that's fun too. That intro at Gill would make a newbie feel included. It might make a difference if they get a point of contact and ask for a business card from one of them to check when next meeting is scheduled. And I think we do give them some kind of a new members flyer that has some various information on it as well. But that's a great idea, Fran. And Debbie Huey is saying road trip. Yeah, she's my road buddy when we go to the Longhorn show in Springfield, Illinois. And she was supposed to go to Paducah. I'm throwing her out. I'm putting her under the bus now for last year. And she couldn't make it at the last minute. So are you going this year, Debbie? And then Eric says he wondered if having an online quilt guild could work. I know a lot of groups are online as far as quilting. There's various different ones online. But I don't know how it's any different than going to say like the Bonnie Hunter group. So you'd have to be more specific in how it's organized. Vera says I work, and I guess at the local homemakers have evening quilt group. She says I work and the local homemakers have evening quilt group, but start at 5 and work make it hard to get to the meetings with the potluck, etc. So yeah, the times of the meetings can be an issue for some. I think we start here in St. Louis at 7 p.m. Most of our guilds. 6:30 might be the earliest that our evening guilds actually start. We do have a couple of guilds that actually meet in the daytime because there are a lot of retired people that like to do all of their things while they're out in the day. Someone says Bonnie Hunter is coming to a guild near them, and I was told by the guild that they will let me know after their meeting if I can attend her lecture and trunk show. Okay. Attending her lecture and trunk show is different than actually attending the guild meeting. So maybe they're having her at their guild meeting and she may not be doing as much. And then they're having a particular other time that they have the lecture scheduled and then the actual class. That's completely different because they want to make sure that they get their people in who want to go first. And then they will open it up to other guilds and other quilters for fee. So I think when you're talking about this particular scenario, it sounds like she's not either their meeting is not going to be a regular meeting that night. And so you're going to have to pay a little bit more because Bonnie is a very expensive person to bring to a guild. And I couldn't see you going to her lecture and or a workshop without you spending at least $50 for each one. So that's probably why the guild set that up different. Jennifer loves wool batting, fluffy and light, good for summer and winter. Got some people saying they're going to try wool batting. And you got people that got very weird work hours, work 2 jobs. And I understand all of that as well. And sometimes it's just not convenient. And Cheryl Harper sounds like she's trying to get me to have an online guild. We can talk about that. We'll come back next week and you all can tell me what are your views and what are you looking for in an online guild. And then I'm going to, who was that? Was that Eric? Yeah, we're going to have Eric. We're going to put him to work too. But I think, in order to do that, so that it's not like another quote group, you've got to come up with something different. You can't do the same thing with the expectation and then call it a guild. We got to figure out something more. And it seems like a lot more people are chiming in on the online deal. I'm laughing at Debbie Huey's response. Seems like the quilting marine, he likes going to Goodwill to, I guess, to get jeans for his quilts. I know some people will go to buy clothing. I know Bunny Hunters likes to go buy shirtings, and some quilters will go get that as well. A lot of other people are saying they like Goodwill. I go into the Goodwills and I'm like, oh my God, I can't stand it. I'm just not one of those type of shoppers. If I'm going in to look for t-shirts or something, it's a pretty easy thing because I'm looking for a particular kind, like baseball or football shirts. But other than that, I just can't do it. So we're a little bit over time. I'm trying to go through the comment sections. Okay. I see down here at the bottom that Eric is saying that he needs a edit button, and they're down here going, "No, Eric, it's too late, buddy." So that's pretty cool. But we need to come up with something that's going to make a group. If we're creating a group and making it an online deal, an online quilting deal, what's different about that over having just an online quilting Facebook group or something like that? Because we still got to use one of those channels in order to do that. So we need something else, something more than just creating another group. Because I have TeaQuilts already created that we can chat and talk over there. You're free to come over there on Facebook and chat and talk, share your quilts. But we need something different. What's going to make this an actual deal? Okay. So I think I have gone through the comment section. I could not read every last one of them. I have a lot of chats in here, and I appreciate all of you participating. I'm sorry if I was not able to read your comment or that I missed your comment. I'm sorry about that. It's just human error. Blame it on the circumstances of the chat box and not my heart. So I am just going to go ahead and close out. Oh, one final thing. If you would please leave some suggestions for future sewing chats, although I didn't sew this time, but please leave some ideas. I try to make these chats about what you all would like to know, or if you just want to do generic Q&A, that's fine as well. But I just hate to come on and not have a topic because then I have nothing to talk about. I'm just sewing. So I don't want you to just watch me sew for an hour. So I thank you all for participating, and I will see you next week, 7 p.m. Bye bye.